A new girl had recently come to live in my neighborhood. Her name was Dolly. The name fitted her nicely as she looked like a doll. Perfect curly golden hair, crystal clear blue eyes, nice rosy cheeks, red lips, and a soft white skin that looked almost like porcelain. One day I met her in the park. We talked to each other and soon started playing with each other. We met almost every day and played together. She was very shy and always followed me everywhere. When I asked her why, she just looked at me with those big blue eyes and batted her long eyelashes sadly and replied, "You look like my big dead sister." And then her eyes would start to form tears. We grew closer as friends, and after a few days, I gave in and finally accepted the fact that she was my best friend. One day, I invited her to my house so we could have some fun, play games, gossip, watch TV. While we were playing, my mom came home. She had gone shopping to the nearest supermarket to get groceries. She dropped the bag of groceries on the table, looked up, and said gleefully, "Hey girls, I'm home." "It's my mom," I said, and introduced Dolly to my mom. Dolly looked surprised and said, "Oh, really? But she looks so young." By the blush on my mom's cheeks, I could say she was flattered. Throughout the afternoon, I saw Dolly examining my mom. "Your mom looks so pretty." That was her reply when I asked her why she was looking at my mom all the time. I found it a little weird, but then ignored, thinking that Dolly was really in awe of my mom. She truly was beautiful. One day I went to the park to play but didn't see Dolly anywhere. She hadn't informed me that she was not going to come home today, so I thought she must have fallen ill or something and played by myself that day. After I came home from the park, I couldn't find my mom at home, so I shrugged it off thinking she was out and would be home in some time. I turned on the TV in time for a show called Dress Your Doll Time. Suddenly there was a spark behind the TV and the TV went off. Smoke came out from the switchboard where the cable connecting the TV was plugged in. The smoke vanished before I could even get up to check what had happened. The lights went off. It was pitch dark and I couldn't see a thing. Suddenly, the TV was automatically turned on, but there was no electricity, so how was the TV working? I was scared as hell. On the TV, there was my show, but it was different. It was not what I watched every day. I saw Dolly sitting on a stool. What was Dolly doing on TV? I thought to myself. Curious, I decided to watch her. At first, she was talking about her new doll and all, so I figured that she was a performer. Then she opened her big bag and took out a doll which suspiciously resembled my mom. But its hair were golden and my mom's was black. Her eyes were dark blue, whereas the doll's were brown. But when I looked closer, I realized that it is my mom. The face cut and cheekbones and so forth. I panicked a little, but decided to go to her house and ask Dolly about what I saw. So I went to her house, which was empty and surprisingly unlocked. I walked in and landed in a room which looked like Dolly's bedroom and opened the door. To my horror, I found many dolls hanging by their neck from the ceiling. As I looked at each one of them, I realized that these looked exactly similar to the people who had gone missing in my neighborhood over the past few months. I was shocked at what I saw and stood still for a few seconds. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind me. I turned around and I saw Dolly smiling sadly at me. I thought that I had finally found a true friend, a friend that wouldn't be so nosy. Now that you've seen this, I can't let you go. You'll be a part of my pretty doll collection. Doesn't that make you happy? Did you know the face sculptures and paintings in the art room look at us if we go there after school? Nina said to her classmate Judith. Yeah, it's true, especially the Mona Lisa painting. It's said that if you stand near it, it will kill you. I don't know how, though. Nina's friend Mary backed Nina to scare Judith. I don't believe you, Judith said, scared. But don't tell you we didn't warn you. Nina turned around, winking at Mary. In the art class, Mary was sitting beside Judith and Nina behind Judith. As they painted, Nina poked Judith at the back. Don't you feel like many eyes are watching you? She whispered. Look at those sculptures' eyes. Wait! Didn't that one just blink? Mary joined in. No, of course not. You're lying, Judith said, scared out of her wits. We're not, they both chorused and continued to paint. While leaving school for home, damn, I forgot my watercolor box in the art room, Judith said, slapping her forehead. Well, then you should go get it, but be careful. Mona Lisa will be watching you when you are in the room, Nina said, making haunting gestures. Nina and Mary then walked away, laughing. In the art room. Damn, why should I have left it below the Mona Lisa painting? I'll just grab it as fast as I can and go, Judith thought. She walked across the room, trembling, and she didn't dare to look up. She quickly grabbed the box and turned around. Phew, everything's fine, she exhaled, relieved. As she was starting to walk towards the exit of the art class, suddenly a pair of icy cold hands wrapped around her neck and choked her. She turned around and was horrified at what she saw. The hands came from the Mona Lisa painting. Judith couldn't breathe and became weaker and weaker with every passing second. As her last hope, she hit the hand with the watercolor box with all her might. The hand released her and she ran away. She saw the hand bleed from her hit. When she got home, she was in a state of shock. She barely slept that night. Her eyes still didn't believe what they had seen. Next day. The next day at school, Judith was early to school, waiting for Nina and Mary to tell them what had happened the previous day. After a few minutes, Nina and Mary entered. Judith ran to them and asked them to meet her near the girls' bathroom. Why do you look all worked up and shaky? Did you see a ghost? Laughed Nina. It's true. The painting really choked me, Judith said to Nina and Mary. What are you talking about? Asked Nina. When I went back to the art room to pick up my watercolors yesterday, the Mona Lisa painting grabbed my neck and choked me until I couldn't breathe. I somehow managed to escape. We don't believe you. We just used that to scare you yesterday, Mary said. You don't believe me? Have a look at my neck. The scratches are still there, and when I hit her hand with my watercolor box, her hand bled. I'm sure the blood is still there on her hand. We can go and check it in the art room, Judith said, pointing to the art room. The girls walked into the art room. The class hadn't started, but there were other students in the room. Nina inspected the painting. Nothing's different, she said. There is, Nina. Look, Mary said, trembling. She was pointing to Mona Lisa's hand. The one that was in the front was fine, but the one behind it, the one Judith hit, was decorated with a red line, almost like blood. Nina touched it and it felt sticky. She sniffed it and shrieked in terror. It was really blood. The girls were scared but kept low. They came out of the art room and decided to investigate the truth after school, when everybody would have left. All three girls attended school as usual, but could barely concentrate all day. After school was over, all the students had left. There was no one on the corridors either. They met outside the art room. Now, the art room was in a corner, and it was usually very dark there without lights switched on. It looked so spooky. The girls walked into the art room and switched on the lights. They walked towards the Mona Lisa painting and stood there in front of it for about 10 minutes. Nothing happened. There's nothing here, Judith. You must have dreamed about this whole thing, and the blood Mary saw on the hand would have just been red paint. It's an art room, girls. Somebody must have hit a brush on the painting by mistake. Let's leave, said Nina. I guess you're right, Mary said. Come on, Judith, let's go. As the girls turned around and walked towards the door, lights went off, and the windows of the art room slammed shut. The door was shut too before they could even get out. They heard a quick gust of wind and felt cold air on their skin. They trembled in fear and turned around to see Mona Lisa from the painting had disappeared.